How did one of Rome's most feared legions simply vanish from history? The Ninth Legion, Caesar's pride, was swallowed by the treacherous mists of Britannia. But what happened to these soldiers? Were they massacred? Did they betray Rome? Or is something even darker hidden in the lost records of the empire? Picture an invincible army, laden with glory from battles of epic proportions, marching under Rome's golden eagle. Now, imagine that same army being erased from the annals of history as if it never existed. Such a shocking disappearance continues to baffle historians, archaeologists, and writers to this day. The loss of the Ninth Legion wasn't just a mystery. It was a direct blow to Rome's pride. Britannia, with its misty hills and fierce tribes, was a battlefield of terror and resistance. But the Ninth Legion wasn't just a military force. It was a promise of domination, a symbol of Rome's absolute power. For the soldiers marching through those lands, their disappearance wasn't just a military tragedy. It was an emotional collapse, a shattering of the invincibility Rome promised its men. What if the true reason behind the disappearance of the Ninth Hispana wasn't a barbarian ambush, but internal betrayal? Or, even worse, a secret Rome chose to bury to protect its reputation? Clues point to unrecorded battles, theories of mass desertions, and conspiracies that could shake the very foundation of the empire. Today, we'll delve into the darkest and most fascinating hypotheses surrounding this historical enigma. In today's video, you'll uncover survivor accounts, possible bloody ambushes, hidden betrayals, and desperate strategies that might have led to the Ninth Legion's demise. Get ready to unravel theories ranging from brutal massacres to high-level conspiracies. Together, we'll dive deep into the heart of the empire to understand how an entire legion simply disappeared. If you're fascinated by historical mysteries and the epic dramas of the Roman Empire, make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button. It's the best way to support our work and ensure more stories like this reach you and other history enthusiasts. The Ninth Legion, known for its glory and discipline, embarked on what should have been a routine campaign in Britannia. This island, with its rolling mists and fierce resistance from native tribes, was a land that tested even Rome's best. The Ninth marched with the confidence of countless victories behind them, their golden eagle shining as a symbol of invincibility. Yet, in the dense forests and unforgiving terrain of the north, their confidence began to erode. Reports suggest they ventured into Caledonia, modern-day Scotland, where alliances with local tribes were tenuous at best. Here, they faced an environment where even the most disciplined army could falter. The tribes of Britannia were not just skilled in guerrilla tactics. They understood the land better than any Roman general. They used terrain as their weapon, luring the Ninth into ambushes that unraveled the tight formations of Roman discipline. But what if this wasn't just a failure of strategy? Some historians argue the Ninth may have been betrayed by their allies. What would drive native tribes to turn against an army that offered them peace treaties? Was it fear, ambition, or a deeper conspiracy at play? Adding to the mystery, records of the Ninth's movements abruptly stop after this campaign. No triumphant return, no detailed account of their final battle, just silence. This has led to theories that their disappearance was not merely due to an overwhelming enemy force, but something far more sinister. Could their destruction have been orchestrated by Rome itself? Such an act would seem unthinkable. Yet Rome was not above burying its mistakes to protect its reputation. As we delve deeper, questions arise about what really transpired in those misty hills. The Ninth's legacy as a unit of honor and strength seems at odds with their sudden and total erasure. Did Rome's pride blind them to the cracks forming within their own ranks? Or was the Ninth simply a casualty of political maneuvering back in the empire? These questions demand a closer look into Rome's internal dynamics and the ambitions of those in power. Could the disappearance of the Ninth Legion be tied to forces within their own ranks? And if so, what could drive such betrayal among Rome's finest? While the Ninth faced external dangers in Britannia, evidence suggests internal conflicts may have played a critical role in their downfall. Rome's legions were not immune to the ambitions of their commanders. The empire's political climate at the time was fraught with power struggles, and military leaders often sought personal gain over loyalty to the state. The Ninth's officers might have been no exception. Could their leadership have fractured under the pressure of internal rivalries and conflicting agendas? One theory points to the possibility of a calculated sacrifice. A legion's failure, while devastating, could serve a larger political purpose. For instance, losing the Ninth might have been used to justify a more aggressive expansion into Britannia, rallying support for the empire's continued dominance. On the other hand, this loss might have been a scapegoat for a broader failure of strategy, allowing Rome's leadership to deflect blame from themselves. Either way, the Ninth's disappearance begins to look less like a tragedy of war and more like a chess move in a deadly political game. The soldiers themselves were not above suspicion either. Desertion, though rare in such a disciplined force, was not unheard of in extreme circumstances. If the Ninth's morale was shattered by poor leadership or impossible odds, could entire units have chosen to abandon their posts? Such a scenario, though deeply shameful to Rome, aligns with the empire's decision to erase the Ninth from its records. It raises the chilling question of whether the soldiers of the Ninth were not just victims, but participants in their own downfall. The internal dynamics of the legion also play into this mystery. Roman legions were built on loyalty and unity, but betrayal within the ranks could unravel even the strongest of armies. If officers acted out of personal ambition, ignoring the welfare of their men, the resulting chaos could explain the Ninth's sudden disappearance. It forces us to ask, how much of Rome's military success was built on a fragile foundation of trust and discipline? But the Ninth's mystery doesn't end with internal betrayals. What if their fate was sealed not just by their own actions, but by a larger conspiracy within the empire itself? Could their erasure be the result of a deliberate decision to protect Rome's reputation? What dark secrets might the empire have been willing to hide at any cost? As we dig deeper into the fate of the Ninth Legion, another unsettling possibility emerges. Their disappearance may not have been the result of external enemies or internal dissent alone. What if the Ninth was deliberately sacrificed as part of a larger strategy? Rome's military history is filled with calculated risks, where the loss of one unit was deemed necessary for the empire's long-term gains. Could the Ninth have been sent into a hopeless mission to draw attention away from more significant maneuvers elsewhere? The strategic importance of Britannia at the time cannot be overstated. It was a frontier region, not just for military conquest, but for maintaining Rome's image as an unstoppable force. A decisive Roman defeat would have shaken the confidence of provinces across the empire. Yet, by erasing the Ninth from history, Rome avoided public humiliation. This raises the question, was their disappearance part of a deliberate cover-up? By silencing the story of the Ninth, Rome may have sought to preserve its illusion of invincibility, shielding itself from the ripple effects of a catastrophic failure. This theory gains weight when considering the limited records of the Ninth's movements. Official accounts of Roman campaigns were meticulously detailed, but the Ninth's final march is shrouded in ambiguity. Historians have speculated that key documents might have been deliberately destroyed. Such actions would have required authorization from the highest levels of power. Did the emperor himself sanction this erasure to protect Rome's reputation? Or were powerful individuals within the Senate or military acting in their own interests? Beyond the political motivations, the Ninth's fate also exposes the harsh reality of life on the empire's fringes. Legions stationed in remote provinces often faced isolation, dwindling supplies, and little support from the central government. If the Ninth was left to fend for itself, their eventual destruction might have been an unintended consequence of Rome's neglect. But even this possibility circles back to one central question. Why did the empire choose to forget them instead of commemorating their sacrifice? The Ninth story challenges the very fabric of Rome's military ideology. How could an empire that prided itself on honor and valor abandon one of its own legions? What secrets might still lie buried in the hills of Britannia, waiting to reveal the true purpose behind their final march? The disappearance of the Ninth Legion left scars that stretched far beyond Britannia. Rome, An empire built on the strength of its legions faced a unique dilemma: how to maintain its iron grip on power while silently burying one of its greatest failures. The Ninth's fate became a cautionary tale among soldiers, a ghost story whispered in the barracks. For those stationed in Britannia after their loss, the region must have seemed cursed, a place where even the mightiest could vanish without a trace. The absence of closure for the Ninth's families added another layer of tragedy. Rome traditionally honored its fallen with monuments and records, ensuring their legacy endured. But for the families of the Ninth, there were no commemorations, no stories of valor passed down through generations. This erasure was a betrayal not just of the soldiers, but of the values Rome claimed to uphold. How did this affect the morale of other legions, knowing that even the most loyal and disciplined among them could be discarded when it suited the empire's agenda? The Ninth's loss also influenced Rome's approach to frontier regions. After their disappearance, the empire fortified its hold on Britannia, constructing Hadrian's Wall to mark the limits of its reach. This shift from expansion to defense signaled a turning point in Rome's history, a realization that even its vast resources and military might have limits. Did the Ninth's fate serve as a wake-up call, forcing Rome to confront the fragility of its dominance? And yet, the story of the Ninth refuses to fade entirely. Modern historians, archaeologists, and storytellers continue to seek answers, piecing together fragments of evidence to reconstruct their final days. Theories range from mass ambushes to desertion and even assimilation into local tribes. Each possibility offers a glimpse into the harsh realities of life at the edge of the Roman Empire. But none can fully explain the silence that followed their disappearance. So we are left with a haunting question. Was the Ninth Legion a victim of chance, a casualty of betrayal, or a sacrifice to protect the greater good of Rome? Or does the truth lie somewhere even darker, hidden not in the mists of Britannia, but in the very heart of the empire itself? The Ninth Legion vanished, leaving behind only questions. But what about a Roman legion that defied the impossible? While Rome struggled to bury the failure of the Ninth, one legion stood above all others, the 10th. In the chaos of the Battle of Alesia, they didn't just survive, they shaped history. What made them unstoppable? How did their loyalty to Caesar turn them into the most feared force in the ancient world? Click now to uncover the incredible story of Rome's greatest legion.